welcome to today's Coffee with Coaches, where we look at leadership through various lenses by talking to experts, coaches, and mentors from various backgrounds. And today I have the honor to welcome Charliejeane Cooke Winchurch. Welcome, Charliejeane. Could you please briefly introduce yourself? Who are you? Where do you live? And what are you doing in life?
Hi, Fabian. Thanks for inviting me here. It's an honour to be here. Thank you. So I'm Charliejeane and I'm a UK registered clinical and sports dietitian. And I help people overcome their IBS without any need for any supplements or remedies or dodgy diets and things, so they can get back, their life and live in life on their terms rather than being held back by their IBS.
Wow, that's very interesting, isn't it? So, well, Charliejeane, of course, you have a very broad experience because you have had other experiences, another career in the past. Could you tell me something about that, and maybe also about maybe your worst and also your best leadership experience ever in your previous career?
Okay, so before becoming a dietitian and working in our National Health Service here in the UK, I used to be in the army. And I think both in the army and in our health service, I've seen a range of different leadership styles. And probably the best is probably a previous boss of mine when I was in the military. And I think that's because he was friendly, he was firm, he was very good at his job, very knowledgeable, and he enjoyed sharing his knowledge and bringing on, junior staff members. And he always looked smart, always looked the part. He was very fit, and he was very robust, obviously, because he was a soldier as well. So I really admired the way he was, and he would invite us to give our opinions and ideas of how things should be run, and then he would invite us to discuss what we felt would be the best option, and then obviously it was down to him to choose, compared to another boss that I've had, who she was very autocratic, I would say, and I think she tried to appear that she was democratic and was willing to invite us to talk and to share. So we'd have department meetings, and we would all be discussing, if there was any problems or challenges that had come up, and then we would discuss that, spend loads of time coming up with ideas and kind of judging what we felt was the best idea. And then they would decide what they had come up with was the best. So basically ignored what we'd said. So we'd wasted loads of time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and discussing that. And even if we had, if there was challenges that had come up, we'd maybe discussed it before and then try to put things in place to, overcome the challenges. And then that would all just get put to one side. So it would waste resources as well as time. And it knocked morale, and staff didn't really feel listened to or valued, I guess, as well, because of, their leadership style and basically dictating what should be done, and their ideas were the best all the time. So I think, not having the opportunity to share ideas, because I think, one mind can't come up with everything. So many minds can come up with ideas, creative, and maybe find a better solution to things.
Yes, of course, of course. And of course, then, I mean, it's not only about being smarter altogether, it's about empowering your people, isn't it? And what hurt or frustrated you the most about that type of leadership style?
I think it's not feeling valued. And when you're meant to be part of a team and not being able to connect and join in, even though you want to and you feel like you've got lots to add, and seeing other members of the team trying to do the same and then them not feeling, you know, valued. And I think depending on the type of person you are, it could make you want to leave your job or go elsewhere, or decide that, you know, that role isn't for you, just because of that one particular person. So they can have, you know, a big impact on, you know, that team, but also maybe the whole organization, because it could have a ripple effect.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it can even impact in a negative way people's career, people's well-being, and even your private life.
Yeah,
Um,
because I
and
think, yeah, I think it can, the some people, they were getting you know, they're taking it personally and getting stressed, and then their stress levels were going up even more, on top of, you know, the stress of their normal role. And then, you know, they might affect their eating habits, maybe their exercise, you know, just looking after themselves and maybe neglecting themselves and failing to self-care, just because of one particular person. And I've known previous colleagues that have felt that way, and you know, that they've started neglecting themselves because they felt devalued, and they, you know, they couldn't find any other way around it, but they didn't want to quit their job because of the money, and they liked it apart from, you know, this one person, the boss. But yeah, so it can have a massive ripple effect, and obviously their families and their livelihood, everything.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you know that I help female managers to lead with ease and to thrive and to get the best out of themselves and their teams. And this particular topic that you just raised is really something that comes back all the time. I see it all the time. It does really impact people's lives in a very negative way. And even the family suffers from that. It's not only the individual and the team or teams, even the families back home, it also impacts their lives. And then when I see that they they change that, when my clients transform themselves and their career situation, it really has a huge positive impact on their private lives as well. So that's really awesome. Now, who do you consider as the most inspiring leader and why?
um I think, I guess there's so many kind of famous people out there. There's trying to pick one, but I would probably say, so Winston Churchill, probably, the prime minister during World War II, Great Britain, for because I think he was a strong leader. He was bold, and he was determined and committed, and he didn't take no rubbish. And I think he was the right person for the job at the time. And I think, had we had someone that was weaker, then I don't think he would have inspired, you know, Great Britain and the Allies to support and, you know, come together for the main effort. And I think we could be living a totally different life nowadays had he have not been the person that he was. But I think if we brought him to being a politician now, I don't think he would have lasted very long. But yeah, I think he was the right person for the job at the time. And because of it, you know, how strong a leader he was and bold, but I think we needed that.
Yes, 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 definitely. And of course, that was at that time and in that context. Do you feel that today in 2021 you could still learn something from him? Um,
I think so. And I think there's a time and a place. And I think it's about being adaptable to your leadership style and knowing your team, knowing the organization's goals and getting everyone together and working as a team. And if there's something urgent that's, urgent, really important, then I think, there's a time and a place for being autocratic, like being in the military, life and death situation, you need to be autocratic. Or I don't know, it could be something even as unimportant as like when I was a chef and being a master chef and having to get the meals out to the people. Obviously I don't want to be like democratic, oh, can you just do this please in your own time? No, we've got meals to get out, so you have to be more directive and autocratic. So I think there's a time and a place. And I think I think it's about being adaptable to the members within your team, knowing their strengths, their weaknesses, their personalities and how they learn, and how they can progress, and their needs, and then obviously the needs of the customers or whoever it is that you're serving, and being able to switch between your leadership styles, and being friendly and approachable as well, obviously.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, there are various contexts, as you just said. Sometimes you have to be directive, and sometimes, yeah, there is more room and space for being autocratic and democratic. Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting. And do you have the feeling, Charliejeane, that today, I mean, in your current role as a mentor and coach, a health coach, that you have to to use a certain leadership style as well in order to get this connection with your clients and to help them to transform themselves?
I think it's identifying their needs and their knowledge and understanding, and then bringing that out from them and then working with them. And it's some of what I would do is directive, and it would be, I would like you to do this because if you don't do this, it's not going to work. So some of the information advice that I would work with the clients, it would be directive, because I know the outcome that can come from doing that. So that can be quite directive, but it comes down to choice. The person, like when you go to the doctor can diagnose you, and the doctor can say, well, I recommend that you take this medication, the side effects are this and the benefits of this, but it's down to you. So that's kind of the approach that I take as well. So it's working with them and democratically, but there is also, from my experience, my knowledge, that I know that this is the best option for you based on your personal situation. And they can take it or leave it, really. They have got that choice, and if they don't want that, then they have to take the consequences. But then I can help them around that and maybe give them other options if they don't want to do, say, option one. So it's quite to and fro and adaptable, really, I guess.
Yes, yes, very interesting. And what do you consider as your own zone of genius?
I think I I love people and I love helping people and I really care about them. So I always like to put them first and think about them, and it's about sharing my knowledge and experience with them and how best I can help them. What they're struggling with, what can I do to help them? And I think it's just, it's so nice, like being a dietitian and working in our health service and having our student dietitians that, while they're studying at university, and then they come on clinical placements in hospital with us, and then just bringing them on and mentoring them and leading them. And because what and they don't know what they don't know, so you can help them avoid pitfalls and you can guide them on what potential challenges they're likely to face because you've been through there, so you can guide them with that. And I think it's such a privilege to be able to, you know, pass on this and help them. And I'm grateful for the people that have done that to me, you know, when I was junior and brought me along. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yes, absolutely. It's invaluable, isn't it, to be able to be a mentor and to help a mentee, because you know that thanks to your help and care and you know and passion and unbridled commitment, they will gain years in just a few weeks, and so they will gain lots and lots and lots of time and money even.
Yeah, because you cut their learning curve by bringing them on. So yeah, it's a massive benefit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They will climb their learning curve much faster. So it really is priceless, I believe. Now, what do you consider as your most important leadership lesson, wisdom, blessing, maybe?
Um, I think being able to have the privilege to like lead, like when I was in the army, junior soldiers, and in our health service, the junior dietitians, you know, the student dietitians, because you're taking time out from your normal work. And you know, some people may be like, oh no, I don't want to do that, but I just think it's so valuable. You know, you've given your time and you know that you can help them. And I just think you could say it's quite selfish not to share your knowledge and experience, because if everyone kept all that to themselves, we wouldn't really get anywhere or learn anything, would we? We'd have to go through all the challenges and obstacles ourselves, and it would take ages, you know, to get to where you want to be without having someone sharing their knowledge and experience and insight.
Absolutely, that's so true. And by the way, it works in two directions. Sometimes people aren't that coachable, or maybe they are not really prepared to invest in themselves. But then they miss out on so many things. And so, why would you recommend to invest in mentoring?
I think it's so important because, like I said, you know, you don't know what you don't know, and they can bring new ideas. They have a different way of thinking because they're that further ahead. They've got all that knowledge and experience, and that whole, whether it's years or months, it doesn't matter, but they're, you know, they're ahead of you. So they've got so much more that they can share with you. And you know, I've got a mentor, I've had previous mentors, I've had mentors all through being in the army and in the NHS. And I just think that you know, it cuts the learning curve, it makes things easier for you. And I think, you know, with ideas and stuff and the challenges, and I just think that's invaluable. If you've got a heads up on knowing what to expect, you can prepare for it rather than falling, you know, and in that pit hole and struggling yourself. And you know, forewarned is forearmed. So I think that's a massive benefit of having a mentor. And being, you know, accountability is massive, because you know, if you just do it yourself, you'd be like, because you're always the first to like let yourself down. Oh, that's okay, I don't need to do that. And then you can prioritize other things. Whereas if you've got a mentor, then you know, they can hold you accountable to that. And I think that's really important as well. And some people might be like, oh yeah, no, I don't, I'm always committed and I do this. But do you all the time? Maybe when you're tired, you know, maybe you're going through a stressful time, it's easy to say, oh, I'll do it later, but then later never comes. Whereas if you've got a mentor, then they can, hold you accountable to it and bring you on. Yeah, I think it's invaluable having a mentor, and I'm so grateful for the mentors that I've had, because I wouldn't be here now, you know, having the knowledge and experience and be where I am and being able to do what I do without having them. So yeah,
Yes,
it's so
that's
important.
yes. I'm so happy for you, and it's true. It's so true what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Now, Charliejeane, I know that you are already following your passion, and that you are working with a lot of passion and commitment. And maybe my next question is useless, but I still want to ask it anyway. If you would totally unapologetically follow your heart, what would you be doing, or what would you be doing even more?
Yeah, I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing now, because I love it. I love helping people, and I know from my experience of all the previous patients and clients that I've had, how much their lives have improved. And it's so rewarding seeing, like you, with working with the people that you work with, you see the change from where they are to where they, you know, transform, and the knock-on effect of, you know, their work life, their home life, everything else around them, their family. It's a massive benefit, and it's so rewarding seeing that change in someone. So I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing. Obviously, you continue to improve and develop, but yeah, I'm going to continue doing what I do because I love it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it's not only helping that person, the ripple effect is huge because it has this positive impact on yeah, in your case, on the person, of course, in the first place, but also on that person's family, on that person's career, everything. So yeah, the ripple effect is huge. And I see it all the time as well with my clients. They they're they really have a dramatic boost in self-confidence, just to name one element. And then they start leading with ease, and they start really motivating, inspiring, and empowering their teams. And so they go home with a good, with a feel good feeling, but their teams as well. And the performance increases, the productivity increases, everything becomes better and more easy. So the ripple effect is enormous. And of course, in your case and with your clients, it's the same. So yeah, just keep on doing what you are doing. Jean.
And you.
Yeah, you are doing great, I know. And yeah, I really wish lots and lots of clients for you, so that well, it's, of course, you are changing the world by helping those clients.
Thank you.
Now, if you could change one thing, one more thing in the world, what would that be?
That's a really hard question. Because there's like climate change, the oceans, you know, the state of our oceans, poverty, hunger, the lack of clean water, even down to like the amount of misinformation that's out there in the health and fitness industries, and the lack of regulation. So it's really hard to pick one. But I probably would maybe hunger and lack of, you know, clean water for people in the world. Because yeah, there's an abundance of food and water that it shouldn't be. You know, people are struggling to have food and water and getting ill from drinking dirty water. And I would like to eventually, I pay into charities and I help towards these issues that I've just mentioned, but it would be nice, you know, later down the line to be able to have a bigger impact in these areas as well. Yeah, so it's hard to pick one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand. Now, one last question, Charliejeane, and you have been a female manager. Now you are a female entrepreneur. And as you know, I'm helping female managers. Would you have any leadership advice for both of our audiences?
Um, I think, yeah, this it's quite a lot of things, but trying to think of one key thing, I think maybe it's not about me. So it's about them, the team, and what, as a leader, what do I need to be? How can I improve myself? How can I invest in myself? What do I need to read? What, how can I develop myself, improve my knowledge, my skills to be a better leader, to get the most from my team? And then obviously the knock-on effect of that, and what training do I need, but also what training do my team need? And it's not about me looking the best or thinking that I know everything, because I don't, and then it's being self-aware. And yeah, like you mentioned before, it's like a 360 feedback, so getting feedback from my team on me and then me giving them feedback. So I think, yeah, it's not about me, it's about them and how best I can lead and support them, if that makes sense.
Yes, that is a great advice. You are right. It really is about them. I mean, leadership is not about titles or or prestige or whatever. It really is about supporting and facilitating and empowering others and helping them to develop and to grow. So yes, yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a golden advice that you just gave. Um, I would like to wrap up, if that's okay with
Yeah.
you, by asking you one last question. Where can people find you, and how could they connect with you and get in touch with you?
Okay, thank you. So yeah, my website, charliejeane.com. And there's links to my social media on there. But I also have, we've got a free Facebook group for people with IBS and they're into their fitness. So that's IBS and Exercise Nutrition Insiders. So they can just search inside Facebook for that. But there are links on my website at charliejeane.com.
Oh, that's awesome. So people just can go there and ask for membership, for free
Yeah,
membership.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a great initiative, really great. So I invite everyone, of course, for whom it's relevant, to go in there and to become a member of your awesome free Facebook group.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Charliejeane. It was
Thank you.
it was a real pleasure to have you. Thanks a lot for your precious contribution and advice. And I hope to be in touch later on.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.